In today's NFL, quarterbacks reign supreme. From Patrick Mahomes to Joe Burrow to Josh Allen, they are almost at the peak of their powers. So, is it possible to stop these guys or even slow them down? And what's the best way to do so? In our opinion, there's nothing that's going to ruin a quarterback's day more than a 270-pound lineman pressuring them. There's been one man who's done that better than anybody over the past couple seasons. You might expect that man to look like a Greek god like Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, but he doesn't. He might be the most unassuming edge in the NFL. You're also probably thinking this guy plays on a stacked defense like the Niners or Eagles and he's winning award after award. But no, he's actually wasting away on his defense. This edge rusher is Maxx Crosby. This guy doesn't get to sub in when offensive linemen are tired. He gets to play the whole game and he's a one-man wrecking show. What's up, guys? It's Max from the Max and Juancast, MJC Sports, coming at you with another MJC original. If you like content like this, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and let us know what you think about the video. Rushing the passer is one of the hardest things to do in sports. To oversimplify things, you basically just have to win your matchup. Sounds easy, right? Did I mention your matchup is a 350-pound offensive lineman that wants to kill you? And once you get past him, you have to hope the defense around you has caused the quarterback to hold the ball long enough for you to have an impact. Maybe it's not that easy. Well, how does Maxx Crosby do it? How does he generate the most pressure in the league when he's on a bad defense? You might think this is the Raiders' first time wasting a great pass rusher, but it's not. We can't talk about Maxx Crosby without talking about Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack was in an almost identical situation to Crosby. He won Defensive Player of the Year while being on a horrible defense and was really the only great player the Raiders had on defense at the time. To put things into perspective, Mo Hurst, a rookie at the time, led the team with 4 sacks. That would tie him for 110th in the league. The Raiders would only have 13 sacks that whole year, while Mack would put up 12.5 in only 14 games with the Bears. The Raiders would go 4-12 that year and have the 4th overall pick in the draft. And man, the Raiders had their pick of players. Guys like Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Rashawn Gary, Jeffrey Simmons, Ed Oliver, Montez Sweat, and hey, even Maxx Crosby was there. But who'd they take? Well, none other than Clemson pass rusher Clelin Ferrell. But lucky for the Raiders, even though they messed up the 4th overall pick, they were able to get Maxx Crosby in the 4th round. Maxx Crosby had a great rookie year, put up solid numbers, and had flashes. It was clear that after his rookie year, he was the best defensive lineman on the Raiders and a future star. But before Crosby could become that star, he had to fight his inner demons. Prior to the start of his sophomore year, Max made a life-altering decision. On March 11, 2020, Crosby checked into rehab for alcoholism. Nobody really knew at the time. It was Crosby's decision, no one forced him to go, and in his own words, "After my rookie year, my life became unmanageable. I've always had issues with drinking throughout high school and college, but it became too much for me and has been that one crutch." Crosby would still have a great sophomore campaign, but according to Max, the first year of sobriety is always the hardest. But after conquering his off-the-field demons in 2021, Crosby was able to make the leap in his 3rd year. He firmly established he was one of the best pass rushers in football. Crosby was a second-team All-Pro, but some people had questions like, should he have made it over other guys? Crosby didn't have the traditional sack numbers that we associate with being a good pass rusher. Of the members of the All-Pro team, his sack total was by far the lowest. He even had lower sack totals than some guys who didn't make it, like Nick Bosa, Cameron Jordan, or Trey Hendrickson. So how did he do it? He did one thing better than any player in the NFL that year. He pressured the quarterback.
People tend to overlook Maxx Crosby. And hey, why wouldn't you? Skinny arms, skinny legs. Let's go ahead and cue up a picture of some Greek gods. Doesn't look like this guy, Myles Garrett. He just looks like a regular football player. Let's go ahead and debunk this theory. Now, if you guys can take a look at the graphic on the screen, we got player A and player B. Now, this is from a website called mockdraftables.com. The more filled out the wheel is, the more athletic the player is. These numbers on this wheel indicate a percentile. The higher the number, the better it is. And these are numbers off of the combine. And yeah, I know it's not the perfect thing to measure athleticism, but it's something that a lot of GMs use, and especially us at the MJC Sports. Now you might be wondering, who are these players? Player A, player B. Just to tell you, player A, this is Jadeveon Clowney, a 1st overall pick of the Houston Texans a couple years back. And not to mention a freak of nature coming out. Player B It's our boy Maxx Crosby, the unathletic edge in the NFL that people like to call him. As you can see, he lacks the weight, of course, but the three cone's very high, and that indicates how quick this guy really is. So how does quickness result of being better on the field? Well, let's look at some plays. As you can see, Crosby is in the backfield by the time the ball is snapped. So many of his pass rushes, they're just so freaking quick, dude. Just look how fast he's getting off the line. Look how fast he beats the offensive tackle. It's with ease, speed, power. You can really see everything. Crosby's not a one-trick pony. He doesn't use speed all the time. He doesn't use power all the time. It's a combination of both. If a tackle gives himself a couple yards of cushion, Crosby's going to take advantage of it. He's going to use his speed to power and bull rush the tackle into the quarterback. Overset the edge, and he's going to spin right inside of you, or he's going to hand chop you. And as a run defender, it gets even better. As you can see right here, he's chasing down guys from the backside, making highlight reel tackles, beating guards, beating tackles. I mean, for a guy his size, and especially his weight, it's super rare to have this ability. Just a good little stat to indicate how good he really is. Offenses ran the ball 55% of the time away from him. The difference as far as yards go, when running away from Maxx Crosby, it was 4.9 yards per carry. And then when they ran at him, it was 3.9, a whole yard difference. That's a big deal. His skinny frame almost allows him to bob and weave through chaos, and he can move around the ball at ease. This year, Crosby, he recorded the most stops as an edge defender in a single season since 2017. And as you can see from this graphic, it's with good company. But look, Crosby has so many unique traits. But as a Raider fan, honestly, the one thing that really stands out every Sunday is his relentlessness. There's no give up in this guy. Crosby was the only defensive lineman to play over 1,000 snaps in 2022. That's fucking insane, bro, for a defensive lineman. He almost never comes off the field. And I know that's part of the Raiders not being good, but man, you really don't notice it at times. And as Max said earlier in the video, he doesn't get to play in a stacked front. Plays for the Raiders. He's the only good guy. Let's bring up a guy who had a great year this year. And this is a shout out to my boy Max, but Hassan Riddick. He barely got to work all that hard for his sacks. He was fresh most of the game. Maxx Crosby on the other end, he had to work his ass off every single snap. But that's who Maxx Crosby is, and honestly, he wouldn't have it any other way. He's been taking the hard path his whole life. Coming out of a small MAC school in Eastern Michigan, getting overlooked 3 rounds in the NFL draft, overcoming alcoholism, it's been a tough road. But he has risen to every challenge, and he has surpassed every expectation. With the Raiders drafting Tyree Wilson, Maxx Crosby will be put in a better situation this year to succeed. But what's the next level for him? In my opinion, it's the sack numbers, and it's a Defensive Player of the Year award. He's already been an All-Pro. Yeah, he has the pressure numbers. Yeah, he has the advanced stats numbers, but I want the raw numbers. I want the masses who don't really watch football all in detail to know who this guy is. I think he should become the best pass rusher in the league. Not TJ Watt, not Myles Garrett. But what do you guys think about Maxx Crosby? Go ahead and let us know down below in the comment section. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We do podcasts, we do MJC originals like this. And go ahead to make sure to keep a closer eye on Maxx Crosby this year when you're watching football on Sundays. We out. Peace.